Darkness surrounds me, but fear does not. I've stood before kings who shook empires. I've watched idols fall, dreams expose rulers, and power crumble in a single night. So no, this is not where I panic. This is where I wait. The lions move closer now, massive, controlled, ancient. One of them stops in front of me, larger than the rest, scarred, watching. And if lions could judge men, this one already has. Humans are the strangest creatures alive. This man warned their kings. He revealed dreams no one else could see. He watched fire refuse to burn faithful men. He stood when empires collapsed overnight. And after all that, they still threw him to us, still proud, still blind. The lion exhales slowly, then turns away and lies down. If stories like this pull you in, if you want to understand faith when pressure is highest, welcome to Hidden Bible Stories. Subscribe now, because what you're about to hear doesn't start with fear. It starts with conviction. Let me go back. My name is Daniel. I've lived in Babylon longer than I care to count. I've survived kings, wars, betrayals, visions that shook me to my core. And now, I serve a new king, Darius, a Mede, a conqueror, a man who inherited an empire and doesn't quite know what to do with it yet. But he likes me. He trusts me. So much so that he made me one of 3 administrators over the entire kingdom. 120 satraps report to us. We oversee everything: taxes, laws, armies, grain. It's not a small job, and I do it well. Maybe too well. Because the other 2 administrators, they hate me for it. Not because I'm corrupt, but because I'm not. They've been watching me, searching, digging through my records like vultures looking for bones. They want something, anything. A bribe I took, a law I bent, a moment I looked the other way. But there's nothing, and that makes them angrier. I remember the day they came to the king. I wasn't there, but I heard about it later. They bowed low, smiled wide, spoke with voices like honey. "O King Darius, live forever." He loves that line. Every king does. We have consulted together, all the administrators, prefects, satraps, advisors, and governors. All of them? That was a lie. They didn't consult me. But Darius didn't know that. "We believe," they continued, "that the king should issue a decree, a law. For the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or man except you, O king, should be thrown into the den of lions." They made it sound noble, like unity, like strength. "Let the kingdom see that you alone are worthy of worship. Let them know that for 1 month, all devotion flows to you." And here's the part that stings. Darius liked it. He signed it, put his seal on it, made it law, irrevocable, permanent. Written in stone, according to the laws of the Medes and Persians, which means even he can't undo it. I found out that same evening. A servant told me, quietly, in the corridor outside my chambers. "Master Daniel, the decree, it's about you." I didn't ask him to explain. I already knew. They hadn't found corruption in my work, so they targeted my worship. I went to my room. The windows faced Jerusalem. They always have. 3 times a day I kneel there. I open those windows. I pray toward the city of my fathers, the city of God's temple, the city I haven't seen since I was a boy. It's the one thing I've never compromised. Not for Nebuchadnezzar, Not for Belshazzar, not for anyone. And I wasn't about to start now. So I knelt. I opened the windows, and I prayed. Not loudly, not dramatically, just honestly. God, you see what's happening. You know what they're trying to do. I'm not praying to make a point. I'm praying because you're the only one worth praying to. I stayed there a long time, and when I stood up, I saw them across the street, watching, smiling. They had what they needed. They went straight to the king. Your Majesty, didn't you sign a decree that for 30 days no one could pray to any god or man except you? Darius nodded. I did. The law stands. Then Daniel, they said, his name dripping from their mouths like poison. Daniel, who is one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you or your decree. He prays 3 times a day to his God. I wasn't there to see Darius's face, but I'm told it fell. All the color drained from him. He realized, in that moment, what he'd done. He'd been trapped, and so had I. He spent the whole day trying to find a way out. He called in lawyers, advisors, anyone who knew the law. Can we revoke it? Can we rewrite it? Can we make an exception? But the law of the Medes and Persians doesn't bend, and my accusers knew that. They came back at sunset. O king, remember, no decree or law that the king issues can be changed. Darius looked at me. I looked back. And without a word, he gave the order. They arrested me in my home, gently, almost apologetically. The guards wouldn't look me in the eye. They led me through the streets as the sun dipped low and the sky turned red. People watched. Some whispered. Some wept. I didn't fight. What would be the point? At the edge of the city, there's a pit. Deep, dark, cold. The lion's den. Darius was there, waiting. His face was pale. His hands shook. He stepped close to me, close enough that only I could hear. May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you. It wasn't a command. It was a prayer. And then they lowered me in. The fall wasn't long, but it felt like forever. I hit the ground hard. Dust rose around me. And then I heard them. The lions, padding closer. Low growls, the scrape of claws. Above me, they rolled a stone over the opening. Darius sealed it with his signet. So did my accusers. No one could move it now, not without breaking the king's own seal. I was alone, in the dark, with the lions. You know what's strange? I wasn't afraid. I should have been. Any sane man would have been. But I felt calm, like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. The lions circled me. I could feel the heat of their breath, smell the wildness on them. But they didn't attack. One of them, huge, with a scar across his face, sat down in front of me. Just sat, like he was guarding me. I laughed, quietly, to myself. You really do shut the mouths of lions, don't you? And I lay down on the cold ground, and I slept. You're still here. Good, because this is where the story gets wild. If you haven't subscribed to Hidden Bible Stories yet, do it now. We're just getting started. I woke to the sound of stone grinding against stone. Light poured into the den, blinding, painful. I squinted, shielded my eyes, and I heard a voice. "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?" Darius. His voice was shaking, desperate, like he'd been crying all night. I stood up, slowly. My legs were stiff, my back ached, but I was whole. "O King, live forever," I called up. I heard him gasp. "My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O King." Silence. Then I heard him laughing. Not mockery, relief, joy. "Get him out! Get him out now!" They lowered ropes, pulled me up. When I reached the surface, Darius grabbed me by the shoulders, looked me over, touched my face like he couldn't believe I was real. "Not a scratch," he whispered. "Not a scratch." But the story didn't end there. Darius turned to my accusers. They were standing off to the side, pale, trembling. "You," he said. His voice was ice. "You who accused this man. Bring them." They tried to run. They didn't make it far. The guards dragged them forward. Their families, too. Wives, children. I wanted to look away, but I didn't. Darius pointed to the den. "Throw them in." They screamed, begged, pleaded. It didn't matter. They were thrown into the pit. And the lions? The lions who had sat peacefully beside me all night? They tore them apart before they even hit the ground. Darius stood at the edge of the den for a long time. Then he turned, walked back to the palace, and wrote a decree. Not a law this time, a proclamation. To all peoples, nations, and languages throughout the land, may you prosper greatly. I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom, people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed. His dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. And just like that, the God of a Jewish exile became the God honored by an empire. So let me ask you something. What kind of faith survives the dark? What happens when God shuts mouths but opens destinies? Was this the end of Daniel's story, or only the beginning? Because here's the thing about lions' dens. They're not just about survival. They're about what happens after. What happens when you come out whole, when the accusers fall, when the king proclaims, when the impossible becomes undeniable. This is Hidden Bible Stories. We don't just tell you what happened. We take you there. Subscribe, stay, because the story is far from over.